Happy holidays, gunners. Got something here I'm going to show you. It's kind of interesting, but I'm going to preface this with a little story first. So what I'm going to show you here is I'll probably put up a picture of the mag pull, like you know, the thing they put on the bottom. You can like pull your mags out of your mags real easy. Mag pull makes a plastic one, and then they make a plastic piece that replaces this bottom, you know, part. So you can get a hold of your mag and pull it out of the bottom. Well, a long time before that, there was a war called Vietnam conflict that the Americans were involved in, and they had these guys called LRRPs, Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol guys. And when I first got into the military, that was one of the jobs I went into. It was called Long Range Surveillance units. They were detachments, usually to MI battalions, that kind of thing. Anyhow, so I had the opportunity to have some of those guys who were in Vietnam, who were actual LRRPs in Vietnam, who trained me. That's the guys I learned from. One of the things that we learned about, which I'm going to show you here in this video, is you know, long before Magpul made those Magpul devices, right? There were guys that used, you know, 550 cord and 100-mile-per-hour tape, usually in the OD color like this, and we made our own. And one thing I noticed, I've seen people do you know, explanations of how to do this. There's probably other videos how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do it. What they don't tell you is one of the reasons why, and I've never seen it talked about. And the reason why that the new ones really wouldn't work, for this reason I'm going to tell you here at the end of why you would do it this way. So it's important to watch this, share it with your friends so they understand. It's a cheap way to make a mag pull, so you can get your mags out of your mags real easy. You don't have to use paracord. You can use shoelace, anything you get your hands on. Now, back in the day, magazines, they went into pouches and they were stacked like this. So hear the noise beating together. Well, there's a reason that you didn't want that, right? So if you're trying to be quiet and you're trying to sneak around in enemy territory, you want to have your mags quiet. One way to do that was to use the 100-mile-per-hour tape, which I'll show you, and you get a mag pull function out of it. So, with further ado, you can do this with either a piece that has the inside strands in it, or you can pull them out. And so, you know, we would usually pull the insides out, and we'd use this string for other things. In this particular fashion, what we're going to use these for, we're going to tie a little knot here. You can either do a square knot or you can just do an overhand knot like this. It doesn't necessarily matter which one you do. A lot of times, you know, with the Ranger guys, you do your square knot and, you know, do it in that fashion. And, you know, you could do it like this, square knot, right? Then you could tie off the edges. If you want to cut that off or melt it down, however you'd want to do. The other option would be, you know, just a simple overhand to create a loop, right? Just like I'm doing here. You go through there, and I'm not going to do this one this way because I don't have enough loop for what I'm going to show you. So you could do just a simple overhand like that, but then if that's, the point is this is going to be up in the mag, like this. So you're going to restrict your amount of ammo possibly that you can put in the mag. So it's one reason why if you do it like this, it's a much smaller knot, and it's not taking up so much room. And you'll see why that's important. So if you take a round out here, and try to keep this video somewhat not too lengthy, so you can put your you know, your bullet in here, right? And you put it in there and you pop this bottom of this mag out. You don't necessarily have to take it all the way out. You can leave it like that. So the idea here is, one way to do this, man, look at that, still got stuff from the world in there. Yeah, I don't clean my mags, obviously. So the one thing you do is stick this down under that guy. Under that, you don't want that, you don't want it in the spring path. You want it sitting just on top. So, like this, you can have that sitting in there, just like that, and then we're just going to slide this back, and we're going to get our paracord up underneath that, right? So I'm going to have to pull it back a little bit more. I don't really want the spring to come out on me, right? So I want it to come back. And you want to, roughly have this kind of in the middle of the mag, the base, right? And this is one reason why, if you do the full cord and you don't take the guts out, it makes it really difficult to get it underneath that mag base down here. All right, so see how that's already looped in there like that? And then you just snap it in forward and lock it in place. Now look at that, you got a mag pull. Cheap, easy, right? You pull that back, it's not going to hamper your function at all. So if you had 3 of these, in a mag, you'd add each one like that, right? So that is one way to do it. And then what we do is to keep them quiet. We just take some 100-mile-per-hour tape, and this way it gives us a place to store tape, right? Because if I need tape, I've got it on my mags, right? Get some hair on there. You want to keep it fairly neat, not have hair all over it, right? And so, you do a few strands on here. You don't need a lot. But if you needed to have lashing for a lean-to, or to quiet your gear, other gear, snaps, buckles, whatever. Or if you needed camo on your gun, right? You could put strips of this on your handguard or something, and do that kind of thing. So this is the, the old school way of doing this and putting it on there. Now, so I got some 550, some 100-mile-per-hour tape on there. Got a little piece of 550 cord. See this guy? These things, these are great for like tying down knots, shit you don't want to lose. So now if my mags are stuck in a box together, or in a mag pouch together, I know I'm using an AR-10 mag. But now, before, they'll rattle around, make noise, but once I got tape on all of them, it definitely reduces the amount of sound in the mag. So now you got a mag done like that. Pretty cool, right? Another way you can do this, now again, you can do the same, like I said, you can do this without taking the innards out. Same thing here. You just put that down inside there, same way. So you want this long. I guess I'll show you here in a minute. I'm going to do another way you can do this. So another way some guys like to do it, they just like to put an overhand knot on one end, like so. And this is, let's just say you need 550 cord right away, right? So see this groove right here? You can put your knot in that groove, right? Run this around like that, so I get an idea of how long I want my piece there, right? Look at my new cheap switchy. I just got it from Amazon. Another little switchblade. It's relatively sharp. Hey, it ain't great. But you don't really need to worry about melting that down. I suppose you could if you're really that concerned about it. But the point is, you don't need to. Because more than likely, it's going to be, under the tape or whatever. So you have something like this, right? Take your Cool Guy mag like that, right? And then with your tape, now there's kind of a drawback to doing it this way. And that is, I'll show you here in just a minute. So you want this knot just a bit above your tape line. If I could get this to start right. Normally I wouldn't do this with a whole stupid roll, right? But basically you want to start your, you could leave the knot either sticking out like that, or you could have the knot underneath the tape. A lot of guys like to do it under the tape. This is kind of the quick and easy way to make a mag. The problem with doing it this way is if you want to use this tape later, chances are your tape is going to be all boogered up if you needed to use it for a shelter or anything else. So here you'd wrap your tape around. You know, you get it started like that. Then you got your tape on this side. And this way, did I cover it? Yeah, I covered it up. So we'll just keep doing it, going like that, right? We're going to cover it on this side the same way as we did the other side. Just like that. I still got tape to use. I don't really like this method here. I like it above if I was going to do it this way. But I wouldn't do it that way. I wouldn't do it this way personally. You can, like I said, if you're in a pinch and you just need to, you know, let's just say you had to roll out really quick, right? You don't have time. And your mags weren't already set up like this. Okay? They weren't already set to roll like this, right? So you're limited on time. You just got to throw your shit together quick. This is the way to do it. So we'll go ahead and rip off a piece here. Okay, got another mag holder, right? Now we got two mags in there. Problem is, look, that knot creates a space. So if you don't have a lot of space in your mags or whatever. If you're using the placards and he's just going in the front, doesn't matter. Yeah, you got room. The problem with this is, though, as you pull on it, see how it pulls the tape and kind of sucks it in right here? It'll work like that, and that's why you put the knot so it doesn't just slide out the end, right? It'll certainly work like that, and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's the way that would work. And now you see, this is the old way to do it. Now, obviously on like a Lancer mag, some Magpul mag, there's not really any way to do that on these more modern mags. You could maybe figure something out, put a notch in there, or even drill 2 holes in the bottom if you wanted. You know, drill a hole there, drill a hole there. You have an extra, you know, way for it to drain if it got soaked in water or something like that. You can do it on the AR-10s, same thing. Quiet these down, have a little, you know, you get a little more tape. So, anyway, the reason you would do this, and the reason why this works better than Magpul, is a simple fact that when a mag's empty, one way they would do it when they didn't have anything initially, the LRRP guys, what they would do is they would just take an empty mag, take it out of their gun, and then would throw it down their shirt, right? Down the collar of their shirt. And then they have a whole belly full of empty mags if they were in a firefight. But their mags were with them because they didn't have dump bags like you know, you guys have today. They didn't have dump bags, so they would just use their shirt like a dump bag. And they just throw it down the front of the shirt. That's how we were trained. So if we're doing like the banana peel, you know, we're peeling off and we're moving away from enemy contact. Our empties would be going down our shirt, okay? So the cool thing about these, right? If I'm firing and my left hand's up on the gun, hold on, I'll go get one, I'll kind of show you. Okay, YouTube, it's empty. It's braced. It's a little shorty. All right, this is one of my pistols. So, mag's empty, right? So if I was blasting away, I'd take this mag. What I could do is just throw it over my thumb like that, grab my next mag out of my gear, right? And I'd go in there. Yeah, it's live. that's exactly how you would do it. So you'd have one mag that would go in there, right? Now I got one over here, so it's not down my shirt, but it's still with me. You see how that works? So then when I have my next mag, right, it's empty. I pull it out. Now I got two mags on there. You see how it works? And then let's say I reach in my pouch, I grab this guy. I'm throwing it in, right? Yeah, I got live rounds in there. I'm breaking all the rules, aren't I? All the rules. There, it's out. Empty mag. And yeah, that was a 300 Whisper AAC and the 5.56. Don't want to mix those up, boys. That's why I got them marked. So yeah, that way you'd have your mags with you as you're moving. You can throw them over fingers, however you want to do it. Point is, your mags are with you and you're moving. So that was the whole idea behind having these loops. Those mag pull things that you guys use today, they're too short. You can't throw them over a thumb in a firefight real quick where you can have them with you. Well, that just went flying. So anyway, you can have these on the thumb, have them out of the way, have them on the outside of your gun. You can still manipulate your gear or anything else you got. Of course, you don't want to do it with a full mag, a little heavy. But, you know, here you can keep rocking and you can keep the game going and your shit's with you, right? You're not dumping empties on the ground, leaving behind. Then when you have a chance to reload, you can reload your mags and you're good to go. So, that's it. Let's reach over here and grab this mag I dropped on the ground. Yeah. So yeah, there's the story. That's the history of it. So when you're LRRP or your long range patrol, you're in a small group and you got to move. You know, you make enemy contact, you got to get out of there quick. So how do you keep your stuff with you? This is the old school method. You can see I haven't set up a lot of my mags that way, but when I was doing that kind of work, all my mags look like this. And sometimes I'd make one loop like this size and then I'd make one a little bit bigger and make a little bit bigger. The reason why is, like for instance here, see how the loops are not the same? Because as you drape them over your hand like that, right? Then the next one you're grabbing out is going to be, you know, bullets first, yeah, like that. Now they're kind of hanging at a different length, right? So you may want to think about that. But that way, you know, if your hand's closed or whatever, or on your gun, you're not losing your mags. They're with you. Yeah, they may be dangling and making noise, but if you're getting away from the enemy, what do you care? It's not going to matter at that point. Cat's out of the bag, right? Everybody knows you're there. Now you're just running for your life. But if you don't have mags because you're dumping them all to the ground, this thing just becomes a paperweight. So you don't want to do that, okay? You know, keep your mags like that. So anyway, that's the old school way of doing the cool guy stuff. Anyway, like and share, and yeah, if you have any comments or any of you guys have experience with that, or any of you guys that were actually Vietnam veterans, you know, if you were guys that did this, if you're in those groups, MACVSOG or whatever, you know, comment about it. Just trying to pass on to the new generation the old school ways. This is the old school way, but it worked, and it's battle tested. Just so you understand, two different ways to do it. Set it up how you like. This looks a little neater, keeps your tape in good shape, so you can actually use it if you needed to. If you had a handguard like that, you know, you could tape it up or whatever. Also, there was the old way of making, you know, a lot of Ranger guys, you guys remember this, of putting your 550 cord through here, right, to make yourself a strap for your sling, so you could have it up over the top, right? So a lot of guys would tie their stuff down like that, and then this would become a loop for your string, for your sling up here, right? And then they would use 550. They'd use the 100 mile per hour tape and tape this down. And that gave you kind of a natural hand stop right there. Here, I'll show you real quick. Kind of a cool idea if you were, you know, using an M16 or M16A2, right? So there you get an extra little lesson tip, right? So this guy would go through there. You tape this around. Well, obviously your sight wouldn't be in the way. Put our sight up, right? And this way, it would also keep the 550 cord and the tape. Yeah, this looks ugly. I'm just doing it fast. But so you can see, I want you to see how it kind of makes a hand stop. The original, the OG hand stop, right? And then if you just did an overhand knot up here, right? Yeah, I made a mess of that. Obviously, you trim this off, right? But you could have whatever length that you wanted on here, right? So now your sling, you know, your cool guy sling and shit would, I want to show you. So your sling then would just go right through here like this. You guys are getting education. Because the sling on the bottom was kind of a World War II Korean War thing. Well, really World War II, World War I thing where you would use it to sling your gun over your shoulder like in a parade situation. But this is kind of the Black Hawk Down setup, right? Back in the day. You'd rig it up neater than this. This looks like ass, right? This is total soup sandwich, we used to say, right? But the point is, now I've got a hand stop right here, right? Hand stop of tape. And you would keep it off of your gas block because this would get hot as shit, right? So you keep this back on the handguard, and that way it wouldn't melt your paracord and wouldn't melt your tape, and keep your hand back in a good position. So you'd be, you know, ready to rock like that, and your sling would be all up on the top, not hanging from the bottom. I think you understand what I'm saying there. So, yeah, just a real quick, old school way of doing the sling. You do the same thing in the back if you had to, you know, you'd sling it so it'd be on the top. And then if you had a surprise inspection, right, you could just tear it off like I'm doing now really quick. And put the sling back on normal like it's supposed to be and go from there. So really quick, if you really want to set your stuff up like that, just slow down the film and watch it again, right? This is a Yankee Hill front sight, holds down, keep it out of the way in case I don't need it. Got the rear sight in the back pop up in case I can dump this piece of this nice gunner sight, right? It's actually a decent sight for being cheap budget Chinese stuff. It's been on here for a while and works excellent. So yeah, got the cool guy things here. You know, it's a cool gun. Cool pocket knife from the Amazons, right? I traveled there. Look, man, fidget, all metal. It's pretty sweet. It's got a little lever here to unlock it. It's light. I think it was like under 25 bucks. Pretty cool. Anyhow, mags, the important thing. Cool stuff here. And yeah. Anyway, we're 10 minutes. I want to show you mags Vietnam War, insides. You can use this for all kinds of stuff. You know, tying gear down or sewing up pants if you got a needle in your kit, right? Sew up pants with stuff. It's retardedly strong, and you can even, you know, break it down because it's like a Hauser lay type, you know, thread. It's like a Hauser lay. You could make this even into smaller pieces and use it for other things. Maybe use it as a wick or something like that. Anyhow, so there you have it. Vietnam era setup that was passed on into the 80s and 90s. Maybe you guys still did it in the 2000s, the second time we went to Gulf War, went to Iraq. I don't know if guys are still doing it that way, but here's a way if you don't have a lot of money. It's a budget, simple way. Like I said, you can use shoelace, any kind of string you get a hold of. Hell, if you had to in a pinch, you use the inside of these. It makes it small. Might be kind of hard to grab or tactile feel. The nice thing about this, you tactile feel it out of the mag pouch and grab it real easy. Keeps your mags quiet and gives them a little camo if they're in the mag. So, you know, kind of goes with the OD color, sort of. But yeah. Anyway, there you have it. Like, subscribe, comment, all the cool guy stuff, right? Oh, here I got a bunch of shit here in the middle. So you can get out here. Everything we used today. There we go. Pass on to your friends. Have a great day, guys.